I'm an educator in Boston. Um, I teach architecture at Suffolk University. I'm studying to be passive house consultant. We're looking at the second of a multifamily project that I'm working on. I'm going to talk about the mechanism by which we go from Revit to SketchUp to WUFI modeling. So I have a building that we're contemplating passive house certification, right? Rather complex. It is this encircling building here, not this structure in the center, which is an existing building that we're designing around. So it's that sort of C-shaped building, and under normal circumstances, export from Revit to AutoCAD. But I want to analyze this building to sort of look at um, the simplest version. That is, if we looked at an incarnation of this building that was a simple block geometric representation of what we're looking at there. So I'm trying to construct that, and I've done that by creating what's called a Revit mass, which also allows you to export and to work and analyze and do the GPXML stuff, which we haven't quite explored yet. But the blue that you see in the background is essentially the volume of the enclosure of what we're proposing here. So what I've done is created a representation of it on, um, okay, so here's Revit, sort of an isometric point of view of the same thing. Here's the volume. Okay, Revit is telling you we've got 1,485,000 cubic feet, surface area, all that stuff. So it's got a wonderful abbreviated representation of this stuff, right? There's my site. There's a connection to the Earth. The the surface depression that you see here is what Revit um, constructs when you place what's called a building pad, which describes the connection of the building geometry to the earth. So you create a building pad, which is essentially the shape of the excavation, right? And and it represents, if you will, the depression in the earth slab, right? So if I look around this building, you can see that I have extended that depression past the sidewalk. This is a sloping site. The high side is which is on the right side of what we're looking here, Second Street, low side on First Street, and this actually represents the one of the floor plates. And anyway, that's what I have so far. I want to make these short because I want to document the steps. Um, but the idea, let me add one more twist. If I open SketchUp, so the what I'm contemplating here is that if I create that representation, SketchUp is opening. I don't know where, somewhere. Uh, there it is. Let me switch. Okay. I think I hope I'm showing sketch. You can see SketchUp in my screen. So if I go to an isometric view here, I have a representation of the site. If I hide the AutoCAD 3D, right? That is what I export from Revit Architecture. Export to AutoCAD and then import to SketchUp. Of course, this is an extraordinary uh, collection of complexities that you'd have to work around to create a WUFI model. So, anyway, if I were to hide this layer, this is the model that I'm hoping to, I hope I recorded that. That is the model that I hope to export to WUFI. And the idea is I want to incrementally, if we can get this building to work, then we incrementally start to add the recesses and the projections and the overhangs and all the other complexities that are generally antagonistic to may present thermal bridges and are generally antagonistic to passive house.